Hello, my friends, and welcome to another Gaslight Fortnights. This one's going to be a little different and special. I wanted to revisit a story that I did, and I love the story, but the illustration I felt I wanted to do it justice. So, you may remember this one, not too long ago. Any of y'all who are new to this, well, you get to experience it for the first time. Now, that story actually gave way to a continuation, which was this one I did last time, called The Creature's Conversation. And I just couldn't stop thinking about this story, and I really wanted to go back to that one. So, here it is.
Song of the Moonchild. She was a pearl glow when she heard it. Her ghostly light radiated through the black birch branches, hanging in the cool, moist night air, and across all of the dark places forgotten by Apollo. Her silvery rays gleamed brighter when she heard it. It was a beautiful thing when the Moonchild sung to her. It was always a special moment of the night, this lupine contribution to the nocturnal symphony playing out to her. There was the sanguine croaking of the contented frog, the cheerful chirp of the hapless cricket, the informative hooting of the knowing owl, the roaring breath of the tides, the haunting call of the mystical elk, and then there was the noble, melancholic howl of the wolf as the moonlight danced on the dark purple aconite petals and the cold blue tips of the faraway pines. Oh, but every month there came the great songs of her Moonchild, whither she wore the robes of blood moon, blue moon, worm, sturgeon, harvest, hunter, or wolf moon. She came alive as he exploded into operatic transformation, howling out of the emasculating, month-long prison that was man-flesh. Soon his human refrain was torn asunder and hanging in tatters, not unlike the shredded societal garments of his which flapped in the night winds, hanging about the rippling muscles and dark fur covering his naked and true body. There were no prayers to say here, save for the long and deep howl he offered forth to her, his goddess of the hunt. She always granted him the hearty, macabre bounty for his beastly cravings month after month. She glowed again at the sight of his happy, blood-spattered snout, sparkling crimson as he devoured the triumph she had permitted him in a glorious shaft of her lunar radiance. All she asked for was his haunting, long croon, and as if matching him in a chilling duet, there came back to him a sweet howl on the night winds, which ruffled through his thick and dark fur. Tonight, though, the mighty and patient Diana could hear something very different in the song of this Moonchild. It was not the same hunter's request she was accustomed to. It was something else altogether, something much more haunted than her beastly companion had ever sung. It was as though he were asking for a kind of guidance. It was a different kind of a delicious song, she mused. It was a wrenching, lonely song of anguish and longing. The poor lost beast. What was it that vexed his black-hearted soul so? I do not think he craves the meat of a competitor, nor the flesh of an overly human female who has learned his identity. Nor does he seek to dine on the cold dish of vengeance. Hey, he hadn't sounded this lost and confused since his first full moon. Oh, that always made her smile. She always remembered the first howl of her delightful moon children as they shrugged off their burdensome humanity for the first time to experience running wild with the night. Oh, and this dear one was especially confused then. What a vulnerable, whimpering thing he was. He opted not to hunt and starved all through until morning. When he was exhausted in the rising sunlight, he had all but passed out, and she knelt to him and kissed away his tears. He never needed them again. Come the next moon, he was a terrifying hunter, his fearsome heart beating with a bloodlust to be realized by those huge claws and long ripping teeth. The neighboring town still whispers of his chilling, unexplainable aftermath. Hey, but now the tears had returned. Now she could see that heartbreaking glisten as these pearl tears of his streamed once more from his yellow eyes. Whatever is the matter, my fierce hunter? What sadness irritates your empty stomach thus, she wondered, listening to the hymn of his mysterious ache. Soon she learned that it was not his stomach needed to be filled. There was a clue clutched to that beating beastly heart encased deep within the wolf's breast, and this clue were blood red. Her radiance shone as bright as her curiosity with the notes of his keening pain, and in the light she saw her Moonchild had in his claws a single solitary rose held to his beastly bosom by his two monstrous paws. His shoulders heaved heavenward to her nightly thrones as he poured forth his winsome hunter's lament. Alas, he was hunted and caught. I cannot give him this quarry he seeks. No, I can listen, though, and the moon listened as only the moon can. Sing to me the song of your torment. Hey, it was a torment, but what a beautiful torment it was. That night, the moon wept for her poor, afflicted wolf. The next morning, the farmers noted an unusual amount of dew upon the leaves and grass.
Here was the original. And here, this was the continuation. And then, there we are, Song of the Moonchild. All is right with the world. As usual, thank you so much for your support, every way you give it. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, that would be tremendous. Also, please like this video, leave a comment. I love your discussions. The way that's all been kind of unfolding has just been so exciting. So, and if you haven't gone to my Patreon, there's all kinds of fun stuff coming down the pipes, including an exclusive Patreon video in which I do a deep dive into these three paintings and how the stories influence the art. That's part of my new Patreon exclusive series called Giving Up the Ghost Commentary. Thank you again, and I'll see you in a fortnight.